The Critter Safari is Hypixel Skyblock's first hunting island, and with its release, there is so much to explore. From new bosses, secrets, and upgrades to uncover, my name is Derailious, and today I'll be giving you a complete guide to everything in the Critter Safari. Before we begin though, make sure to like and subscribe, use code RAIL on the Hypixel store for 5% off your order, and without any further ado, let's get started. To begin with, you may be wondering, how do you gain access to the Critter Safari? And the answer is that you have to do Starland contests on the Taurus Canyon. If you go over to Miria and click on What is this, you can see at any bracket above or at Uncommon, you will get a Safari ticket. And these Safari tickets will increase in strength as you go up the brackets. So Uncommon will get you the basic ticket, Rare would get you the economy, Epic would get you the premium, and Legendary will get you the first class ticket. Once you've found your way over to the Critter Safari area, you can speak to the receptionist as well as the Safari manager, and you can use your Safari tickets in order to enter the Critter Safari. If you use a higher tier ticket, you will get more bonuses inside the Critter Safari. Notably, you'll get more Critter Capsules, more Safari Essence, and more Hunting Wisdom, with the final tier, the First Class Safari Experience, also giving you a random quest item. And you're also able to trade in tickets as well as Forest Essence for higher tier tickets if you would like to. When you enter the Critter Safari, you'll need to speak to the Safari Manager, who will hand you your items based on your tier. As you can see, I use the first class tier, so I get 56 critter capsules, as well as one quest item, and I'm also able to take in my Safari Belt. You're not able to take pretty much anything else into the Critter Safari. When you enter for the first time, I highly recommend speaking to Hunter Tobias, who will go over the Critter Deck system. This basically allows you to keep track of and gain rewards for capturing all the critters around the area. Once you've spoken to Hunter Tobias, you'll be able to look at the critter decks and see the 4 distinct biomes in the Critter Safari: the Cavern biome, the Forest, the Haunted biome, and the Icy biome. There's also something else we'll go over a little bit later. When you're walking around the Critter Safari, you may stumble upon these little pieces of string and green particles sticking out of the ground. If you click on them, you will get a floor drop. This can be a bunch of different things. First, it can be Safari Essence, it can also be Hunting XP, it could also be some shards depending on which biome you're in, but on top of that, it can be one of many quest items. You're able to get the forest quest items in any biome, but you'll also get additional items depending on the biome you're in. So since I'm in the Cavern biome, I have a chance of getting the gems, and if I was in the Icy biome, I would have a chance of getting the Icebreaker. The full list of drops is on your screen right now. I highly recommend that you go out of your way to capture these floor drops around the area, especially if you need them for a certain critter. Some of them do require the floor drops in order to be caught. In terms of the critter capsules, how it works is that you have to throw them at a mob. If you miss, you actually get the critter capsule back, so if you can run over and pick it up, it is very nice. The critter capsule gets consumed the moment that you throw it at a mob, whether or not you actually capture that mob. So if you throw a critter capsule at a mob and it fails and you're not actually able to get that critter, well, you've lost one of your capsules. This makes it fairly forgiving, even if you're a new player and even if you miss a bunch like I just did there, which was definitely for demonstrative purposes. But if you are capturing a bunch of high tier mobs that do fail their captures fairly often, you will be draining a lot of critter capsules. If you die while in the Critter Safari, don't worry, you'll be sent back over to the spawn area and you'll just lose some of your materials. You won't lose any coins or anything like that, so do not fear. In terms of multiplayer support, you can bring up to 4 people within the Critter Safari, but all of them will need a Safari ticket of the same tier that you used. So if you used a first class ticket, well, they need to use a first class ticket. However, there is also built-in loot share across the entire Critter Safari. So if you're in the Icy biome and somebody else is in the Forest biome, and for example you get a shard over here, they will also get that shard, as well as the milestone and bestiary progress. The only thing that they won't get is the Critter Dex progress. You do need to individually catch every single mob yourself, which does make sense, but you only need to do this once in order to unlock that mob in the Critter Dex. This is a very generous system that does make playing in groups of 4 the optimal way to play, in my view. One more thing to note before beginning, when you are capturing a critter, you do not have a 100% chance of capturing the critter by throwing the capsule at it always. You will start with a 100% chance for common critters, but that chance will go down as the rarity of the mob increases. I believe at Legendary it's only 5%, so you will have to go through quite a few capsules. Let's begin by going over the critters in the Cavern biome. To start, when you first enter the Cavern biome, you can take a bit of a left and find yourself near a waterfall. If you climb up this waterfall, you'll be able to find one of the few fish that inhabit this island, the cavern fish. You head inside this cave, and boom, there's a ton of cavern fish pretty much anywhere. You can just throw your critter capsule at them, and there you go. Next, by heading back outside and climbing up the ladders, you may notice these driftlings, which go all around the cavern biome. They have a set path, seemingly, and you're able to throw your critter capsule at them to catch them. I tend to just stand here and wait for them to come to me, and as you can see, they are pretty easy to catch if you do this. Next, we have the Scrappies. If you climb up the ladders all the way up to the top, you'll see this area in the cavern biome, which you can then break a bunch of the blocks around to find wholesale wheat, as well as special lily pads. These are lush lily pads, and also these fish, which you can also break effectively to get these flavor packed fish. You will need these items in order to feed to the scrappies, although they are specific and you won't be able to use every single one of these items on each. Each scrappy will just take one item each. Heading back down the ladders, you'll eventually come across Hunter Reeves and a Scrappy, and basically what you'll need to do is right-click the Scrappy to figure out which food it wants. In this case, it wants the flavor-packed fish, and there we go. As you can see, it's now out of its shell, and now we can capture it. And there we go. There are multiple Scrappies all around, and as you can see, they all seem to have a Hunter Reeves associated with them, but they usually do not require the same food for every single one. As you can see, this one requires the lush lily pads. And there we go, I can capture that one as well. And there actually I failed to catch, and as you can see, they will jump at you if you fail to catch, so do be a little bit careful of these guys. But eventually you will capture one as well, and there you go. Fourth on our list is the shy worm, and as you can see, you kind of have to avoid it to not let it see you. But if you are able to capture it, it is a relatively simple catch. They're pretty much all over this top layer, not too complicated. Rock mites are all over the caverns inside the cavern biome, and as you can see, they are these little brown, seemingly pot-shaped structures. You just have to basically break the mound, and sometimes you will find a rock mite inside. They are kind of annoying to catch because they do run away extremely quickly, but if you are able to get your hands on one, they will give you the rock mite shard. There we go. It took me a lot of running to capture this one. Chuckwallas will be found all over the bottom areas of the cavern biome. You just have to throw a capsule at them and they'll get scared and run inside these little dens. Then you just run inside the den with them and boom, there you go. You're able to get a Chuckwalla. It will take a little bit because again, these are rare critters, but as you can see, there we go. That's another mob down. And note, you don't need to do anything special to get inside these little caverns. You just have to walk up to them and you'll be placed in a prone position. Snoozles are hidden inside the walls of the cavern biome, and you can find these walls because of the tough blocks as well as these deep slate sort of brick cobbled blocks. You basically run at the wall, and occasionally they will break, and you can find a Snoozle inside sometimes. They're not always here. These guys don't fight back, they just sort of sit there and let you capture them, so they're not the most complicated things in the world, as you can see. Here are a couple more examples of what these snoozle areas look like. You just kind of run into the wall repeatedly, and there you go, they break. This one did not have a snoozle behind it. Flitters can be occasionally found in the bottom parts and the upper parts of the cavern biome, and basically they just move around really quickly, and they're kind of annoying to catch, or at least I've had trouble with them. But once again, not too complicated. You just throw your critter capsule at them, and you are good to go. Last on our list is the Gemsy, and if you get the lime gem, the purple gem, and the orange gem from your floor drops, you will be able to place them on the pillars at this door in the order above the little frog lights, the door will open and a few gemsies will spawn, as you can see all around here. They don't move very quickly, I'm just struggling to capture them for whatever reason, and as you can see, you're just able to get these guys pretty much for free. They don't fight back or anything like that. It's just a nice reward for getting all of the floor drops. Again, though, since they are epic, they sometimes take a little while to fully capture. Another nice thing about this area is if you come behind this pillar, you can find a fairy soul. And with that, you should have completed every single one of the Cavern biome mobs, and you can claim the hunting XP, coins, and safari essence from every single one of them in your critter decks. Now let's move on to the forest biome. To begin with, foxtrots will be running all across the center area of the forest biome. You can kind of just stand in one place, similar to the driftlings, and toss your critter capsules at them. Not too complicated. They will basically run in a big circle around the center of the forest biome, and there are a bunch more. Flufflings can be found inside the caves underneath the forest biome. You just have to run down the caves, and there are a few spawn points for them. Sometimes they'll be on these rocks, sometimes they'll be in this corner, and occasionally you'll find them even further down over here. They're just on their backs, you toss a critter capsule at them, not too complicated. Tree frogs can be found on the upper areas of the forest biome and are kind of difficult to catch, all things considered. I got fairly lucky there. Generally, you'll have to chase them around or else they'll jump really, really far. Woodchuckers can also be found in the upper areas of the forest biome, and they are kind of scary because if you don't capture them the first time around, they will start throwing logs at you, so be careful. Try to get into a good position to capture them, but if you're able to, they aren't too bad. You may notice these trees that have beehives hanging from them in the forest biome. If you click on them, you'll find a honey bug, and you're able to capture them like any other mob. While exploring the forest biome, you will notice these shulkers. You can stand on them, and they become entities that you are able to capture. They are hide on floors, and if you fail to capture them, they will start running away from you, which is pretty interesting. They are kind of annoying to catch, all things considered, because they blend in so well with the background. But once you find your first, it should be easier to find the rest of them. Heading over to the top middle portion of the forest biome, you can find Birdwatcher Tim as well as the Bird Feeder. And the last three critters you can catch in this biome, the bluebirds, the parakeets, and the macaws, are all related to this bird feeder. Around pretty much any biome, when you get a floor drop, a yogi berry, a wriggle worm, and a bag of seeds. You can then take these items over to this area in the forest biome, and bluebirds prefer yogi berries, parakeets prefer wriggleworms, and macaws prefer the bag of seeds. You can then take an item, throw that in the bird feeder, and as you can see, the yogi berries should make a bluebird spawn, although it is not always going to be the case. Sometimes you'll get a rarer or different mob than what you originally put in. There is the bluebird, as you can see, and we can try out a wriggle worm, and as you can see, that should theoretically give me a parakeet, and there we go, we did get one. Oh, there we go! 2 macaws off of a yogi berry, that is awesome. As you can see, they are considered legendary, but you can just go after them over and over if you need to do so. It's not really much of a problem. There we go, I just caught one of them. And there we go, both macaws have been caught. Another thing to note about macaws is that they are considered elusive mobs, so tracking does indeed work on them. If you want to find the forest biome fairy soul, first you'll need to walk over to the back part of the biome and head up the waterfall. Once you're at the top, you will need to walk over to a different island. You can get this way by jumping on top of the big tree in the middle of the forest biome. You can basically just hop across it. Once you're across the tree, you will be able to make a nice little jump over here to this small island with this tree. Then you need to walk alongside the edge of this island and drop down. And here is the fairy soul. You can then drop back down and continue to interact with everything else in the Critter Safari. And with that, you should have all of the mobs in the Critter Decks for the forest biome. Now let's move on to the haunted biome. First, all around the haunted biome, you'll notice these soul snatchers pretty much everywhere in the air. They're kind of annoying to catch, but they shouldn't be too bad for you. And right underneath, you'll notice these bats, and those are also critters you can catch. They are blood bats. Again, these are kind of obnoxious to catch because they fly so quickly, but they're not too bad overall. Heading inside the haunted mansion and taking a right will eventually end you up in this room. And in this room, you can find litter bugs. And as you can see, they run across the floor pretty quickly. They're kind of hard to capture. But if you are able to get one, there you go. You get a litter bug shard. If you sleep in any of the beds in the haunted biome, you'll have a bit of a fright, as a mob will spawn right in front of you. This is the Gazer, and you just have to throw a critter capsule at them like any other. As you can see, they are a little bit annoying and a little bit freaky, actually, compared to many of the other mobs, but there you go. All around the haunted biome, you'll find these blocks that are a little bit out of place, and these are duplicos. They can be a bunch of different things. They're not super easily told apart from the environment around them, but generally, if you're just looking around and you see something that might be a little bit out of place, that could be a duplico. Just hit it, and then you're able to throw a critter capsule at it, and you're good to go. Behind the paintings in the haunted biome, there's actually something else. There's this guy right here, the hide on wall. Next up, we have hidey hoes. These guys are pretty fun. They can spawn in one of 3 locations in the haunted biome, and they'll have you go search for them again. And once you find them again, they'll give you up to 3 shards, depending on how long you took. So now we're looking for the hidey ho, and I haven't found it just yet. And there we go, I found the hidey ho, and it didn't take me too long, so I should get a decent amount of shards. As you can see, 45 seconds, so I get 2. If it takes you longer than a minute to find the hidey ho, you only get 1 shard. If it's between 1 minute and 30 seconds, you get 2. And if it's in 30 seconds or less, you should get 3 shards. Next, we head all the way upstairs into the attic, as there is a bit of a infestation of these spiders here. You can throw your critter capsules at them. Once again, not the most complicated creature in the world. There's also litter bugs up here sometimes, so if you don't want to go downstairs in the kitchen, you can come up here. And if you're confused on where this area is, you can take the stairs up to the left. It's pretty much the door right in front of you, and here is the ladder. If you've been picking up your floor drops, you may have gotten a few shiny coins. You need to come down to the basement of the haunted building and toss your shiny coin in the water. That'll spawn a gimme gold, and you're able to capture it like any other critter. You can do this repeatedly if you have multiple shiny coins, as you can see. And there we go, we have a bunch of shards from these guys. And now we have the boss of the haunted biome. If you have 4 soothing incense, which you can find once again as floor drops pretty much anywhere in this biome, you can then head down these stairs in the back part of the area. You'll also be able to grab a fairy soul here and drop all the way down. Once you're here, you will notice a bit of a ritual taking place. Once you head over to the ritual, you can then light up these candles. Once the ritual begins, stand back, as a mob will be spawning. This is the Doom Spiral. As you can see, you do get a chance to capture it pretty much immediately, but that will be highly unlikely. And once you've tried, it will spawn a bunch of crystals that you then have to throw your critter capsules at in order to get rid of. Once you've gotten rid of the majority of them, you can then throw another catch at the Doom Spiral. That may not work though, so you will have to go around and around in order to try to capture this guy. And there we go, we did actually get it. And once you get a kill on the Doom Spiral, then the door will open and you will be able to leave. And after completion of the Doom Spiral, you should have completion for all of the mobs in the critter decks of the haunted biome. Last but not least, let's go over the Icy Biome. First, something to note is that while you're in the Icy Biome, you will be gaining cold. If you want to lose that cold, you'll need to go over to any of the campfires throughout the area, and that will get rid of it for you. Throughout the icy biome, you can find strong arms pretty much anywhere. They will attack you, so do be wary of them. But as you can see, you can just kind of toss your critter capsules at them, and they are not super difficult to get. Inside the cave in the icy biome, you will see a bunch of Polarises. You just have to throw your critter capsule at them. They are not the most difficult to get in the world, but do be careful because they will try to run at you. As you can see, that's how you get those. There's also another mob you can get if you have an icebreaker on you. This is one of the floor drops for this area. You just click on this wall right here, and you're able to get the Troodon right there, as you can see. At the top of the icy mountain in the icy biome, you will find a billy goat. Once again, not too complicated to actually get to or capture, just a little bit out of your way normally. Following the path up near the top of the icy biome, you'll enter another little mountainous cave, and inside there will be a bit of a waterfall and an area underneath that you can dive into. Underneath here, you'll find a bunch of squids. These are shutter squids, and you can capture them like any other critter in the area. They don't move very much, not too difficult to capture, as you can see. There is also another spot up here for a Troodon spawn. I believe there are multiple of these spawns throughout the area. This is just another spot you can grab one. Heading back down to the main lake area, there's quite a few things you can capture in the waters below. First, though, I wanted to show you this spot. This is a bit of a safe spot, as you can see. And on top of that, there is also something else about it that we'll go over more later. Heading back underneath the water, there are a couple creatures you will find. The nozzle noses, as well as the tapids, are the first two that you'll see. And they can be kind of annoying to capture, and you do have to resurface to re-get your breath, but you should be able to capture at least the nozzle noses from the surface. That's not all, though. All the way at the bottom, you will find these mantis shrimp. They are rare. I recommend just throwing a bunch of capsules at them and hoping you capture at least a couple, and then heading back to the campfire for safety. If you want to get to the last fairy soul located in the icy biome, you'll have to drop all the way down to the lake, and you'll have to head into this small cave. At the end of the cave will be the fairy soul. This is a very tough position to be in, though. You don't have a lot of cold resistance early on, especially if you're just here to grab the soul. I would try to make it back over to the campfire area, but again, if you can't, it's not the biggest deal. You just lose some of your items, particularly if you don't have many items left. If you've already captured everything in the icy biome, that may be the time to get that soul. When you've captured all of the mobs in the icy biome, you'll see this message. You hear the sound of massive footsteps echoing through the icy biome. What could it be? And if you head back into the center cave, you'll see the Wumpa. If you try to throw something at him, he'll get caught on this middle barricade, and that basically shows you the mechanic for what you have to do around here. The Wumpa will run around, and you'll have to try to avoid him. You'll try to get him to walk directly into this wall right here, if possible, and if he bumps off of it, you'll get another chance to capture him. This is a pretty tough little minigame. It is hard to avoid this guy. If you ever need to reduce your cold, you can run over to this campfire over here. He will try to run at you, but you should be able to jump out of the way fairly easily. Oof. And if you stand too close to him while he, pops out of the ball, he might actually kill you, or at least do a lot of damage to you, so be wary of that. And there we go, I have to run now, because I am low HP. I've noticed that this spot right here seems to be pretty good for getting him to come out of that hole right there. Do be careful, though, that might not always be the case, but it's the most consistent spot that I've had so far. So be careful, though, of course. If he runs into you, then you're kind of cooked. Yeah, as you can see, right there seems to be almost a little bit of a safe spot for him that I've kind of accidentally discovered. Kind of stand right here, and then he'll pop out of that wall, and he back up. Throw another critter capsule at him. And there we go, finally got the Wumpa Shard. And now we're able to exit. Thank the Lord, that was such a long fight. This one is the type of thing where I would not blame you if you used your Masterful Critter Capsule on that guy at all. He is very difficult to fight otherwise. And after defeating the Wumpa, you should have completion for all of the mobs in the Critter Dex for the Icy Biome. You may have also noticed that in our time on the Critter Safari, you actually get a reward of Safari Essence whenever you unlock a brand new mob. All of this Safari Essence can be spent at Archie. This is the Safari Essence shop. Here you can get bonus critter capsules, the Master Critter capsule that we were talking about earlier, bonuses to floor drops, tracking, starting with a random quest item, getting bonus hunting fortune while in a hotspot that is random every time you enter, the cold resistance buff, as well as respiration. Your critter capsules can catch critters faster. You get bonus hunting wisdom. You start with the sparkling amulet, which we'll go over in a minute, and also a reforge for your safari belt that gives you bonus speed while in the critter safari. You can also view your hunting box while in the critter safari, as well as the critter decks from your skyblock menu. Your safari milestones are also visible once you speak to Andrea out in the Taurus Canyon, and there's the Safari Essence shop. You can also warp back to the Taurus Canyon if you run out of critter capsules or otherwise want to leave. Every time you leave, you also get a Safari reward summary, including the amount of shards you captured and which ones you did get, as well as the Safari Essence you got from various different things, including stuff like, for example, floor drops, which can give you some Safari Essence, as well as the amount of hunting XP that you received. Speaking to Andrea, she will go over the Safari milestone system. There is basically a milestone for each biome in the Critter Safari, and by increasing these milestones, you get bonuses for your Safari belt. This will increase its stats and its rarity. It's kind of similar to how David's Cloak works with general hunting. And if you head over to your Safari milestone menu, you'll see the Cavern biome will give you hunting wisdom as well as upgrading the rarity of the Safari belt. You'll get foraging fortune from your forest biome milestones. The haunted biome will give you hunting fortune, and the icy biome will give you cold resistance. And as you can see, it looks like this. For example, 5 critters in the cavern biome, you'll get +1 hunting wisdom. If I got 25 total, I would upgrade my belt to uncommon, and also this would give me hunting XP and skyblock XP, and this goes all the way up to mythic rarity, as you can see here at milestone 10 for 1500 total critters caught. And this is the case for every single one of these biomes. As you can see, you gain a bonus foraging fortune here. Same thing with the hunting XP and skyblock XP. For the haunted biome, it's a bunch of hunting fortune. And the icy biome, it's a bunch of cold resistance. These buffs to the Safari belt apply both inside and outside of the Critter Safari. So if you're using this thing outside, you will also gain these bonuses. Another thing to mention is the Morning Dew. Previously, you did not see how much Safari Essence that cost, as I was inside the Critter Safari. You can pick it up out here for 2500, and that gives you a 50 speed boost. While in the Critter Safari, you just apply that to your belt like this, and it works both inside and outside of the Critter Safari. And just to showcase that, we went back inside, and there is the Majestic Safari belt, and I have the 50 bonus speed. And now that our Critter Dex is entirely full, we've caught the Macaw as well as the Doom Spiral, and on top of that, we got the Wumpa. We unlock the Sparkling Critter Dex. There is a 1 in 4096 chance that any mob in the Critter Safari will be sparkling. They'll be glowing, they'll have special particles, we'll show that off in a second, but there is this system that gives you new special rewards associated with this system. And as you can see, you get a ton of hunting XP, a lot of Safari Essence, as well as a ton of cosmetics for capturing these sparkling critters. Note, this gives you no Skyblock XP. If you want to be done at this point, you don't want to unlock any of these things, you do not need to. But if you want to pick up some new emblems, a new podium, helix skin, as well as an ocelot skin and a barn skin, and on top of that, you get upgrades to the emblem and some hunting XP, you are able to do so. For alpha testing purposes, there is this sparkling safari experience, which gives you a guaranteed sparkling critter. This will not be on the main server, you will not be able to do what I'm going to do now, just to show you guys what these critters look like. Also, there is a message when you use one of these experiences that tells you where that critter is. This also will not be on the main server. You'll have to figure it out by yourself. So here we go. If we jump down here, we can see the sparkling mantis shrimp over here. And we can try to capture it real quick. And if we're able to get it, and there we go, we have gotten it, we get a sparkling mantis shrimp, a rainbow feather, and 10 mantis shrimp shards. The rainbow feather was sent to my stash. Since I'm in the critter safari, we'll be able to pick that up in a moment, but there is the sparkling mob caught. So as you can see from my critter safari stash, I can pick up the rainbow feather, and this can be used on a pet to increase its current level by 1. So for example, if I take out my rose dragon and I show it to the world, if I right click on this pet, I can apply it to the rose dragon and it went up by 1 level right there. This does not allow you to over level pets, it just allows you to level them up. This is a very useful item, but it will be relatively rare. If you want to double the base 1 in 4096 chance for a critter to be sparkling, you can head over to the Safari Essence shop and pick up Sparkling Specialist. This costs 10,000 Safari Essence and allows you to start the critter safari with a sparkling amulet, which increases the chance of critters being sparkling by 2x. And as you can see, the bonuses do not stack if you bring multiple people in here, and all of them have amulets. If you walk up these stairs in the Critter Safari entrance area of the Tourist Canyon and speak to Archie, you can trade in your Safari shards for Safari Essence, and this is dependent on the rarity of the critter that you caught. So, as you can see, in total, if I were to trade in one of each type, I get a total of 31. We could see it's 16, 8, 4, 2, and 1, depending on the rarity. So if you have a legendary shard, that's 16 Safari Essence. If you have a common, it's only 1, and everything in between is the in between values. Here is what the Safari Essence shop looks like when it's maxed, and it took around 50,000 total Safari Essence in order to get it to this point. As you can see, you get 8 bonus critter capsules in the Safari. You get the Masterful Critter Capsule, which allows you to always catch the critter it's used on. You get 5 bonus floor drops. You get 10 tracking while in the Critter Safari. You start with a random quest item. You gain a random zone that gets 25 hunting fortune whenever you enter the Critter Safari. You gain 25 cold resistance. You get 20 respiration. Your critter capsules catch critters 50% faster. You also gain 10 hunting wisdom while in the Critter Safari, and you also get your Sparkling Specialist, which allows you to start with the Sparkling Amulet, which increases the chance of critters being sparkling by double. And once you have purchased the Sparkling Amulet, here you go. It is currently on while you're in the Critter Safari. You're not able to take it out, obviously. It's just for in this location. Here is what the Masterful Critter Capsule looks like, and it works like any other. If you miss, for example, it drops right on the floor, and once you throw it at a mob, you're good to go. And this is what the hunting hotspot looks like for each biome. As you can see, here is the forest biome, and if I go into this area, I get bonus hunting fortune while I am here. There is also one more major secret related to the Critter Safari, and that is the 7 bells that are located on the island and what they unlock. I highly, highly recommend you figure this out for yourself, but I will go over all of the locations to make this easier on you if you cannot find them. Now, let's begin. The first spell can be found in the center of the landing zone, and in order to access it, you'll need to climb up this little ice thing here. You'll need to make a jump over to this top of the tarp, and then climb up the middle structure. Give it just a moment. And here we go. Here is the first bell. And as you can see, that will start the rainbow that'll form above the island. Next, we're going to head into the Icy Biome. You're going to need an icebreaker in order to do this next step, so make sure that you have one. You're going to walk over here, and you should already be able to see the bell. You're going to jump on the side of this platform here, and continue jumping until it'll fully flip over, as you can see. The bell will be here for you to ring, but you do need to break it open with the icebreaker, as you can see. And there we go. Now we can ring the bell. For the third bell, you'll have to jump in the water and head down to the secret campfire area that it was safe earlier on. As you can see, here we are. And then walk in this back corner, and there's bell number 3. Bell number 4 is at the very top of the Haunted Mansion. In order to get up there, we're going to go from the Icy Biome and simply climb up the mountain over here. As you can see, here we are. Now there's just one jump to make. And now we are on top of the haunted mansion, and we can walk over and get the bell. From this position, we're going to drop down and walk our way over to the forest biome. We're going to head over to the back left portion of this biome with the little waterfall here. We're going to climb up it slightly, and we're going to look over the edge. There should be a landing platform down here. We're then going to walk alongside the edge of this area and be mindful of your step. From here, it's just a run back into the haunted biome. And there we go. We have another bell. You can then walk the opposite direction back. And you should be able to make it over to these vines to get you back onto the main area. Next, we are going to climb up this waterfall here. And we can already see the bell at the top of that island over there. We will need to run over to it. And from this position on the island, you'll need to make a jump over this way. And then slowly wrap around the entire island. This is going to be a little bit tough. As you can see, there we go. And now we have another bell. By this point, we have 6 out of the 7 total bells, and the last one is over there. Let's go get it. To get the final bell, first we'll have to drop down. And be mindful of that woodchucker spawn. He will try to get you. Now we drop down once again. And even further. Make a jump over here in the Cavern biome. And then go up these ladders. Next, what we're going to want to do is head over this way to these vines. And climb up them. Make a jump over to here. Continue to climb up. We'll need to make a jump onto this cactus. Be mindful of your knockback. If you take knockback, you will have to time it more carefully than I had to there. Just climb up here. Make another jump. Then we go up and up and up. Now there is a tree over here we will need to make a jump to. There we go. And finally, we will need to make one last jump. There we go. And that is the last bell, and you can tell you've gotten the last bell because Hunter Tobias will say, guys, you better come and see this. Once again, if you have watched until this point, I highly, highly recommend that you experience this in-game yourself. This is your last chance. But if you have gotten the entire rainbow assembled, and you walk towards the middle, a cutscene will play. This cutscene will include a bunch of dialogue, and for every line of dialogue, you will get an attribute level for Miracle Chance, which allows you to have a bonus 1% chance of finding any dies. It is a frankly beautiful cutscene that I highly recommend you experience in-game, with or without watching this section of the guide, although if you are here, I imagine you've already watched it. Truly a beautiful cutscene. And now we have the 10th level of Miracle Chance, and we can show that off in-game, and the rainbow goes away. Now we can click on that, and as you can see, you have fully maxed out this attribute. From my understanding, you do not get any bonus shards for doing this again in the future. It's a one-time special thing that you can do alongside your friends. The emerald dye has also been changed with this update, and as you can see, it's now dropped from capturing critters in the Critter Safari. So as you can see, 1 in 500k from commons, 1 in 250k from uncommons, 1 in 100k from rare, 1 in 50k from epic, and 1 in 25,000 from legendary safari critters, and it's also 100 times more common from sparkling critters. And that should be everything you need to know about the Critter Safari in Hypixel Skyblock. There was a lot to cover today, so thank you if you have watched the entire thing. Make sure to like and subscribe, use code RAIL in the Hypixel store for 5% off your order, leave any thoughts about the guide or any help you may need down below, and look to the future. Fellas, I'll see you then.